Like, I have no idea how people are feeling right now. If you want to say something, 617-282-0062. Um, One of the things that does bother me, and, you know, I know it's the day after, but I'm going to be honest. All of these medias are saying this is the worst mass killing ever. This is the worst mass killing ever. Have we forgotten Massachusetts, United States of America history? Just for 5 seconds. Have we forgotten the history of the United States of America? Have we not forgotten? I'm sorry. But if we can go back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, how many people were bombed in one night? How many people were murdered in one night? Can we just for 5 seconds remember that this is not the mass killings #1 of America? Can we just remember that for 5 seconds? No disrespect for those who lost their lives. I just want you to know, do your due diligence. This is not the largest mass killing in America's history. Please have some common sense. Please. Constance, Desi Holly Juade. I don't know if you guys remember her name, but she is one of the descendants of the Slocum Massacre, the 1910 Slocum Massacre, the acts of genocide in East Texas. She posted yesterday on Facebook, the tragedy in Orlando is being referred to as the largest mass killing in America's history. President Barack Obama just announced that it was the largest massacre on U.S. soil. Don't believe the lies. The Slocum Massacre is the largest mass murder to ever be documented in the United States history. Although many bodies were recovered, there are hundreds that still remain buried in mass graves. Don't allow them to discount the lives of our people that were taken in an act of terrorism and hate. If they are going to tell it, they need to tell it right. The lives of my family members matter too. And that is from the young lady who is a descendant of the Slocum Massacre, the 1910 Slocum Massacre. Remember, we had the author, E.R. Bills, on air, and he was talking about it, and she said, we're not going to sit here and pretend like this is the worst, because there have been worse in the past. I want to give a huge shout out to the producers, the directors, the actors of Body and Soul. We had the conversation a week and a half ago about Body and Soul, human trafficking, and our young boys and girls being sold for sexual commodities. Completely disgusting. The play was absolutely amazing. A lot of people showed out on Thursday. A lot of people showed out on Saturday. I attended Saturday's event, and they also had a talk back. That is posted. I didn't want to be disrespectful to post the play, but I did post the talk back. That's currently on Facebook, TaylaAndre. A lot of questions were asked, a lot of good questions were asked, and a lot of concern was raised about what is it that we are actually actively doing as far as human trafficking and sex trafficking is concerned. Prepare for the worst. Washington National Guard takes part in readiness drill for a mega earthquake or tsunami that could kill thousands. The exercise was part of a 4-day event called Cascadia Rising. It is built around the premise of a 9.0 magnitude earthquake or 95 miles off the coast of Oregon. Research suggests that Cascadia subduction zone on average produces a magnitude 9.0 quake every 500 years. And guess what? It's about that time. Big quakes have been separated by as few as 200 years and as many as 1,000 years. So it is impossible to predict when the next monster quake occurs, but they said that they are getting ready for it. However, tectonic stresses have been accumulating for more than 300 years, and seismologists say that it could rupture at any time. There have also been conversations about Yellowstone erupting at any time, because they're saying that Yellowstone is an inverted volcano, that all of the guts of what would be in a volcano are actually internal. That's scary. It is really scary to think that at any time Yellowstone could completely erupt. We're over here drilling we're drilling for natural gas, and we're like, oh, it does nothing. I don't know how many stories we've read about water being polluted and water having seeps of natural gas while we're over here drilling. Like at some point, we need to be alarmed. I posted something yesterday, and it was alarming. And as far as life is concerned, as far as what's going on in our world is concerned, and I don't mean just, the stuff that I read, but what happened last night. There's always two perspectives. Yesterday, I posted a perspective that nobody really thinks about, and that's the perspective of people who are just like, they're gay, they got what they deserved. And that is, I can't tell, I posted it yesterday. My condolences to those that lost their lives. May they be in heaven, begging for mercy since they were homosexuals and God hates the gays. I hope they're praying. I hope they prayed for their lives and God gave them forgiveness. I hope they turned to Jesus. Like, I posted it yesterday, and I meant for it. People thought it was me. Shout out to all of the people that hit me up privately. Like, I can't believe you would say something like that. This isn't me. I want you to understand that you're not, just because you're in mourning, just because you have condolences, doesn't mean that everybody else out here has the same sentiments as you, because they do not. There are people out here that are like, that's exactly what they get. Oops, let's do it again. I'm here for the comments. I'm trying to tell you, like, there's a whole nother world out here. There's a whole lot of hate out here. There's a whole lot of anger out here. Donald Trump could possibly be your president. There's a whole lot of hate out here. Just be guarded. I don't want to see trickle-down racism. Mitt Romney refuses to endorse Trump and suggests he will vote for a third-party ticket instead of Donald. Mitt Romney attacked Trump in a CNN interview with Wolf Blitzer Friday. He said trickle-down racism, bigotry are extraordinarily dangerous to America. He refuses to endorse Trump and expressed disappointment over Ryan's attempt to unify the party behind the Republican presumption. It's not even certain at this point. Presumed nominee. One of the things that really frustrates me is I'm not a huge Mitt Romney fan. If you guys remember during the election, Mitt Romney wasn't on my radar. I really could care less for Mitt. I understand that he was a governor at one time, but that was then. And at that time, I was like, I wash my hands clean of Mitt. One of the things that I have to say is I really love his ability to stand. Jules, can you grab the door for me? I love his truth. No, the door. I love his truth. He said, I'm not going to just sit here and unify the party. I wish Elizabeth Warren had that type of resolve. I wish Jesse Jackson had that type of resolve. How on earth is it okay for you to unify the party and stand behind somebody who does not stand for the things that you believe in, for the things that you trust in, for the things that people have voted you in office for, Elizabeth Warren? There's certain people that trusted you, that believed in you, and for you to turn around and endorse the devil, you won't be reelected. Thank you for helping me see your true colors shining through. I appreciate Mitt Romney for saying, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get behind you just for the simple fact to unify the party. Not going to work like that. Jesse Jackson, Elizabeth Warren, and anybody else who jumped on the Hillary bandwagon. We do need a third party. We need somebody who's so outrageous, so radical, someone who's going to completely turn government upside down. When we have politicians that have been in their seats for over 53 years, 48 years, 38 years, 39 years, at some point, it's time for you to get a new job, boo. And the only reason, I read this study back in college when I went to school for political science, people vote off of name recognition. How many people probably don't even know any of Hillary's policies? Any of what Hillary stands on, anything about Hillary. They just know Clinton. And they know how they felt during the Clinton years. During those first Clinton years, do you remember how you felt? I wasn't even a voting age, and I remember how I felt about the Clinton age. Thank you, Mitt Romney, for standing for something while everybody else is willing to fall for anything. Fertility rates in 2015 have plummeted to the lowest in recorded history, as studies show that 3.4 million baby deficit since the recession, about 3.9 million births, good rising, occurred in 2015, the lowest in recorded history. The decrease came despite an increase of 2.5 million women ages 20 to 39. Fertility rates increased slightly among women 30 to 39 in 2015 in comparison to 2007. Teen pregnancies fell by a whopping 46% among 10 to 19-year-olds. Long story short, if you remember the story that I read probably about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, where we were reading about, I feel really bad today about my attire. If you remember, there are deaths that are taking place. We have a higher rate of deaths and a lower rate of births. What do you think that says? Just think for a second. Don't take too much time. We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And 10 times out of 10 is not our community that's doing the dying or the lack of births, baby, because we are living long and strong, and we are giving birth at astronomical rates. I believe right now it's 2.5. Blacks are 2.5. Right now, whites are not procreating. Blacks are procreating at a 2.5 rate, and Hispanics, I believe, is 3.7, because I knew they were higher than us by a full point and by some others, some points behind that. So think about it. SeaWorld's famous performing pilot whale dies at the age of 56 after 5 decades spent in a tank. The death of the pilot whale Bubbles has sparked social media outrage. Bubbles lived at SeaWorld in San Diego for 30 years and was in his mid-50s. Twitter users remarked that she was forced to do stupid tricks all of her life. She was believed to be the oldest of her species in a zoo. The 3,000-pound whale was captured off the California coast back in the 1960s, and they are trying to figure out what her determined reason of death was. Maybe it was because these animals swim over thousands of miles throughout their entire life, but yet we just throw them in a tank and say, take a bath for the rest of your entire life. One of the things that I am excited for, I'm sad that Bubbles is now passed, but I am excited because Bubbles no longer has to be at the mercy of man to do these stupid tricks, as people online have said. Not only that, I'm also excited because SeaWorld has signed a contract stating that they are no longer going to capture and have animals perform. Do you guys remember the story that I read a few months back? So I'm sad that Bubbles is gone, but I am excited that these animals are dying off, going to a better place, and having the freedoms that they were not afforded while they were living. Again, whales swim thousands of miles simply to mate. Thousands of miles simply to mate, but we put them in a bubble and say, enjoy the rest of your life. Really quickly, because we are coming to Power Hour, Boston police and other personnel conduct active shooter exercise in Fenway Park. And this is just to get, our juices flowing, to keep on top of what happens and what takes place during Good Rising. We have some amazing guests in the building today. More than 1,000 volunteers joined the Boston Police and Homeland Security in their multi-agency counterterrorism exercise. Police, state and federal first responders, and Red Sox security personnel reacted to the simulated scenarios meant to test our preparedness and new technologies for larger events. While Boston Police Commissioner William Evans prepared for this training, he responded to the tragedy in Orlando. We were in constant contact with what was developing, Evans said. Personnel spent the day preparing for a time they hope would never come, testing technology, response communication that could save the lives of many in an attack if this was to ever take place. Parts of Yankee Way and Van Ness Street were closed off during the exercise from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Again, it's really scary. I don't know if you guys remember the exercises that they did on the train. It's scary to even think that that's a real thing, that these are the things that we even need to prepare for. But then we remember what happened yesterday, and we realized how necessary these trainings are. Really quickly, last story, urgent need for blood donors after Orlando's mass shooting. So I don't know whether or not you know this, but right now there is a ban that quote unquote homosexuals cannot give blood because you possibly might have some type of blood disorder like AIDS. So this is a very old law that they put on the books. Thousands fled to donate blood after Orlando's club massacre, but scores are turned away simply because they are homosexuals, and homosexuals are still banned from giving blood in the United States of America. Hundreds of Orlando residents lined up at one blood bank to donate blood. The blood agency said blood was needed to aid victims who were seriously injured following the tragic LGBTQ nightclub shooting. And any man who has had sex with another man in the past year is banned from donating in the United States, meaning most gay men are unable to give blood. It is legal to buy an assault weapon built for mass murder. It is illegal for a gay man to donate blood to save his friends, wrote one woman. A representative, Jared Paulus of Colorado, who is openly gay, said the ban is inexcusable. We got Mr. Nubian on the line. I'm so interested to hear how this plays out. Good rising, Mr. Nubian. How are you?
Good rising. You know what I find amazing is every time there's a violence against gays and a thing in France, I see all these Negroes on Facebook saying, we're in support of you. But millions of people die every year in Africa, and I haven't seen one Negro put a flag of Kenya or Ethiopia or any other country. But let it be a gay, Jew, people that really don't give a hoot about us, and all of a sudden there's all sympathy. I would never see how people live. The only person that if our house is on fire and Master's house is on fire next to us, will run out, get a bucket, put out his house before we put out ours. And I know people are like, well, we have gay Negroes. Yeah, well, not for nothing. Let's be honest. They're in their own little group. I mean, they're their own little tribe. But if people want to donate blood and all that, whatever. But it's just amazing how much sympathy we got for these groups. But yet we don't have so much for our own people that die all the time in Africa. Put up a Kenyan flag, an Ethiopian flag, South Africa flag.
Okay, so I thought you were gonna say something I was gonna agree with. So the funny thing about it, not really funny, but prior to the incident happening yesterday, Pride Parade took place on Saturday. We had, multiple politicians coming out about, support me and the Pride Parade and come out to the Pride Parade and the Pride Parade. And I was thinking to myself, like, we are giving so much energy to the Pride Parade, but how much energy do we give to who's over here talking about Juneteenth? Anybody? Nobody? Somebody? He said it's because it's an election year. That's the reason why we have so much support for Pride. Listen, I have absolutely nothing against. I have family members that are part of that community. To each its own. What you eat doesn't make me go to the bathroom. Everybody has their whatever you want to do, that's perfectly fine. But I think if we're going to put so much emphasis on the Pride, we need to put as much emphasis on what's taking place this weekend, and that is Juneteenth. That is what we are discussing for Power Hour, Juneteenth, and the truth about the 14th Amendment. But before we jump into that, let me say big shout out to our sponsors, ZC Boston. I went to ZC this weekend really quickly. And I love the atmosphere. I love the food. I love the owner. The drinks are absolutely amazing. Free parking when you go for lunch for 2 hours, when you go for dinner, 3 hours, half price sushi on the weekends from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., delivery until 1 a.m. Where can you go that will deliver until 1 a.m. And when I say deliver, I mean all the way up Columbia Road until it meets Blue Hill. I mean all the way up Blue Hill Ave until it meets Columbia Road. 3-mile radius from Boston Medical Center, ZC Boston. Please give them a call. Stop by. They have amazing bento boxes. So if you have yourself and one more person in the office that wants to order lunch, they will deliver. And it is absolutely amazing. And it will get there still hot and fresh. FaithNaturalBeauty.com. The charcoal face wash, the charcoal bath soap, the pom pom wash, the deodorant, the souffle. I used a new souffle today. Absolutely amazing. I've gotten compliments all weekend. Tayla, you smell good. You smell good. I have to say it's all Faith Natural. I don't even have to wear perfume anymore. Lastly, David Banner tickets go on sale this week. Are you ready? David Banner, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. July 23rd at the Strand Theater. David Banner tickets go on sale this week. So we've had this conversation for the third time, or we've had this conversation 2 other times. This will be our 3rd time. We have my auntie in the building, or at least I definitely hear my auntie, Miss Jumada. How are you, my love?
I'm great. I'm blessed. Thank you.
I am blessed as well. Come closer to the mic.
Okay. Yes. Good morning.
Hi, baby.
Hey, sweetheart.
I love you. We don't see each other enough.
I know. That's all right. Love is love.
All the
No
time.
matter how far it seems to span, it's love. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Yes,
So we're
good
talking
morning.
about the 6th annual Juneteenth Emancipation Observation.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
So we're talking about the actual observance of Juneteenth emancipation. And we thank God for the Roxbury reunion, which is going to be held on the 18th on Saturday at Franklin Park. And but on the 19th, no matter what day that falls on the 19th of June, especially in Boston, Massachusetts, and God says the same we're living, there will be an observance hosted by and sponsored by the Boston Juneteenth Committee and the National Center for African American Artists. So this is our 6th annual Juneteenth Emancipation Observance. It's going to happen on the grounds of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 300 Walnut Avenue. And a lot of people know the great big head over there by the David A. Ellison School.
Yes.
That's how they describe it. And that's where it's going to be located. It's at 3 o'clock. And everything is free. We will have vendors there. But for the most part, everything will be, there will be some refreshments. There'll be food, not a dinner. But this is the key. The key is, first of all, our theme is unity. And we're honoring fathers and sons because it just happens to fall on Father's Day. And, I'm going to use that terrible pronoun of I. I just love our men. And I want to appreciate our men. And I realize that a lot is going on and a lot of people have things to say per se and so forth. But we need to uplift our men. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy that the overall committee decided to go on and take the theme of unity, honoring fathers and sons. Because that way we're embracing all men. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's the theme. And of course, we're going to have all the wonderful things we've had through the years. Our keynote address speaker this year is going to be Reverend Joe Cook. And Reverend Cook, he is the owner and founder of Page Academy.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, we're going to have the encampment of the 54th Regiment. We're going to have a bibliocycle there, bring your library card. We're going to have music. We're going to have entertainment, of course, African drumming. We're going to have, the wonderful thing about it is that our Emancipation Observance, it embraces all aspects of our community. Sometimes we're kind of uppity, hoi polloi-ishy, and you don't want to go to that. And sometimes it's like, too grassroots. Some people can't take Ungawa Black Power, but it's all of this. And that's one of the things I love. It's all of our personalities, all of our people.
At what time?
It starts at 3.
You said the encampment of the 54th Regiment.
Right.
What is that?
Okay. Well, that's another piece of history, and that's what this is what this observance is all about. It's about, and I'm going to let some others expound, but let me go to, we'll keep a pin in that, and somebody can explain it even further. But what I want to talk about is because there seems to be still a cry against even observing and the Juneteenth, because it's such a bitter taste, and so people also want to know, well, why do you want to perpetuate something that happened? And then the other thing.
Hold on, don't we celebrate the 4th of July?
Yes, but I'm talking to the people that feel that way, that it's about their people. Okay, they don't even care too much, and even the people that say, well, Massachusetts, that Juneteenth is a Texas thing, and see, it's important. It's not so much the celebration as much as it's the reverence and the observance and what we do at that time. And I wrote a little something yesterday. I just came in from New Orleans and Nashville, and I just wrote this. Could I read what I wrote right quick?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is my rough draft, and this is on the celebration of the observance of Juneteenth.
Okay.
Okay. What's it all about? Some of us don't get it. However, that's okay too. We are all a work in progress. Each of us has an area or two of specificity in which we can and should hone in on as it relates to our prospective journeys here on earth. The issue at hand is Juneteenth. Nationally, the key phrase in the observance of, and not necessarily the celebration of, although there is a place for that too. You see, we share it and we have it all down per se as it relates to the right history. Yes, we know there's his story, but the people, the places, and what we're so hung up on is the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment. And we should know that. We know about General Granger in Texas and what happened at that time. But you know what? It was written and put in the books. And we weren't allowed to write. We weren't allowed to read. But guess what we did? We spoke it. And we passed it on. And that's why it needs to be revered and it needs to be perpetuated. Of course, I'm going off my script now. But anyway, we didn't get to put it in writing. But the people couldn't write. They weren't allowed to read. But as that song says, it ain't no stopping us now or ever. So for the words were spoken and spoken and spoken and passed down. So we need to know that Roots, the Capitol Roots on television, that came way after Roots. And we all know that our grandmothers and the grandmothers and the grandfathers before us told the stories. Okay? So the only one cohesive story piece that we have, that we can pass on, that we can reflect, that we can observe and enhance our positions is through this piece called Juneteenth. Okay, this is the piece that we can embrace. We have no language. We have no nothing per se, even now. So hold on to something. Don't let it go. Protect it, preserve it, deepen it, and pass it on. And this is how we overcome someday. So don't let foolishness and poppycock and who shot John, whether it's verbal, whether it's written, whether it's acted out or otherwise, don't let it stay in your way or stand in your way of pulling up your people yourself and your people to the level of all God's people. And if it can and will happen, it will be in our own United States of America. Okay? So I like it. I like it here. There's a song that says, I like it here. I'm okay. I like the United States of America. But know your history, know your people, and your people, and be proud. Accentuate your positives, embrace and continue to connect. Observe what took place, what is taking place, and be a part of what will take place in the future, and join us on the 19th of June. So what we'll do now is we'll go into what is it about and why do we observe it, and we'll continue if that's okay with you.
Whatever you want to do, Mama, whatever you want. For those who don't know, please tell them who you are outside of my auntie.
Okay, I love everyone. That's who I am. But I'm Jamada Abdullah Henry Smith. And I just do a lot in the community. My family owns a Nubian Ocean Incorporated.
I know, and you guys are leaving.
Well, we're not leaving. You know, we're not leaving. We're relocating per se. Well, I don't even know if it's transitioning. We're probably going to just let go of that convenience pod and continue to have the gift store.
Okay.
And I think it's okay to say that, we were raised to own what we have. So we made a couple of efforts at buying, and we weren't able to buy. So we didn't want to leave the community per se. We didn't want the people, because the community Nubian Ocean belongs to the community. And we hung in there, but it's just not our type of thing. And as one of my brothers said in the paper, we have kind of aged out, although we have generations of other children. So anyway, but the bottom line is that we're like Jennifer Hollis is saying, I ain't going nowhere. We're not going anywhere. So, but we'll be there for the rest of the year for sure. Mm-hmm. God's saying the same. And we'll be moving on to something that, kind of, I'm sure will belong to us, So that's that piece. Is there anything else?
I love you. I love you.
Oh, we're just looking at, I'm a doting community mom, and you're a doting community daughter. So, we don't want to just eat the show up with all that. But I think, love is good because, we don't have enough of it anyway.
I know.
And I'll tell you all right now, because I'm shooting straight from the head this morning. I am totally grieving. Yeah. I'm grieving so much about a lot of things. And I'm trying to not be angry. And I graduated from the Jeremiah E. Burke High School for Girls. And every time I drive from Dorchester to Roxbury to Mattapan, I constantly have to pull over because somebody is racing through like cops and robbers. And that day, I'm always in the middle of it, but that day I was right there. I got there, I was so close to it until the police had to let me out of the ribbon. Mm. And what really bothered me is afterwards going up Washington towards Dorchester, then coming back down towards Roxbury. All of the television stations were there. Mm. Every single station. Everyone with a microphone. Every cameraman. I counted 12 people. 12 people. One person of color was an Asian. Okay? Those are jobs. Those are jobs. And, it's like we can't see the fire for the trees. Why don't we have reporters? Why is it that the people that make, and this is, we're worrying about these things that are happening, but we've got to look at these pictures, and that made my heart very heavy because, during graduation, mm-hmm. we sell all these Afrocentric stones, these cloths from Africa. And of course, that's outdated now because now some of the schools are actually buying that for the students to wear. The stoles that we wear, we have.
Mm-hmm. Some of them are actually stopping the students from walking across stage.
Well, they're trying, yeah. But I'm saying all that because I talk to the young people or the parents and everybody who comes in and buys gifts. And guess where they're finishing from? All of these schools where everybody else is finishing from. They're walking across the same stage. which means they're being trained by the same professors.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me they qualify. They're graduating from Harvard, from Northeastern. They're graduating all over Massachusetts, not to mention outside, you know, and HBCUs. So my point is, I have a background in employment, and one of my backgrounds is in employment, and I just wonder, why aren't any of these young people? And then I thought about it, the money that and I'm telling you, when they were there, the next day they were there from morning until evening. So just think about how many hours of overtime. Why can't all of those stations take some money and grab 10 kids from college, from high school, and make them interns?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Why don't we, what is wrong with us? So I'm a little perturbed. But one of the good things about Juneteenth, the observance of it, it gives us an opportunity not just to talk, but talk and take action, to think, to exercise your mental juices, and at the same time, enjoy, embrace. So as long as you listen, I'll talk. So I'm my father's child. And I found out later in life, my mother talked too, so I got a double dose. So we will.
Yeah, we can transition.
Yeah, let's transition, please.
Good rising, my king. How are you? Please
I'm fine. How are you this morning?
Oh. We got bass in the building now. It's all about that bass. Good rising. Please
Good
introduce
morning.
yourself.
I say Assalamu alaikum. Peace to all of you. And my name is Abdullah Farouk. I'm the Imam of Boston's oldest mosque, the Mosque for the Praising of Allah. And I'm a part of the Juneteenth committee. I've been there with the Juneteenth committee for the last 6 years or so. But this Juneteenth is something that's far older, especially the whole celebration thing is far older. In Boston, we want to pay tribute to Mr. Ralph Brown, am I correct?
Yes.
Mr. Ralph Brown, first of all, who was involved with this Juneteenth far before we got involved. But the National Center for African American Artists and the Juneteenth Committee has been carrying on his legacy. He's gone now, but we pay tribute to him for making sure that this keeps on going. It says that, why was this Juneteenth thing initiated, especially, contemporarily? It's supposed to be that we're celebrating our freedom. However, we're not free yet. We have some work to do. This is what I would like to say, that, and I'd like to apprise our listening audience that if you want to be free, it can't be handed over to you. It's a struggle. And that it's a matter after establishing your freedom of protecting it. So we're not, why we call it an observance rather than a celebration is because we're celebrating in our hearts, but we're observing the fact that there's a reference that's due to this effort of freedom. And if we don't take on the initiative of working for this freedom in a continuing way, we'll never be free. This is just a stepping stone to the freedom that we so dearly desire. But nothing's free in life.
Brother Farouk is
Farouk, yes.
Farouk. There are many generations that are under you, that are under me, that don't understand Juneteenth. They know, like, my aunties, my uncles, my grandparents go to, over there by the Shattuck, and we have some cookouts, but I don't know what Juneteenth is. What is Juneteenth, the importance of Juneteenth, and why observe it in the first place?
In the Emancipation Proclamation claimed that the slaves or the enslaved Black Americans were free by proclamation of our president, Abraham Lincoln. But it wasn't until some 2 years later, 2.5 years later, that the people of Texas realized it. The United States had sent U.S. troops into Texas, but they kept on fending them off. It was more difficult to deal with them, and many of the people who had slaves sent their slaves to Texas in order to keep them as slaves. And the United States government, armed forces, did not reach Texas until some 2.5 years later, under 19th of June, 1865. Yes, 1865. And was able to make this proclamation in Texas as a formal declaration of the freedom of enslaved Africans. I won't call them slaves. The enslaved Africans. And from that time on, they were able to go ahead and leave. Many of them did. Some of them stayed on plantations and kept on working. Some didn't know where to go or what to do. You know, we didn't have Greyhound at that time. We didn't have Amtrak, and we didn't have airplanes. And if we did have it, we couldn't have gotten on them anyway. So many of them stayed enslaved for some time afterwards. But the Declaration was there. So the Declaration of our freedom is there. But now there's the work of being free. If we listen to William Edward Du Bois regarding this issue, this America is sick with racism even to this day. And it's because of the hearts of the people. This is where the disease lies. And this country is enslaved right now to the sickness. This is what led to the shooting in Orlando, Florida. What the young white fellow who killed 9 African Americans. This is all a disease of America. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with the freedom of people to do whatever they want to do and thinking they're free. But as long as the hearts are diseased in the manner that would cause them to kill children and men and women and gays, what right do we have to take life? None of us. But white America hasn't learned. And more sad is that Black America hasn't learned that the freedom that we want for ourselves comes by taking it, not by asking for it.
I kind of want to get off track, but we'll stay on track with the 6th annual Juneteenth Emancipation Observation, because you spoke on a lot of things that I know many of us have questions about. But let's the encampment of the 54th Regiment. Can we talk to you on a later date? Can we put you in the calendar to talk about other things?
We can.
Okay.
And
Lord willing.
Lieutenant Benny White, he'll come out. He is the the lieutenant regarding the enactment.
Okay.
But he'll come out. He's part of our committee.
Okay.
And he'll definitely be glad to be here. But in a nutshell, the 54th, I mean, this is his history that is in the books. And it's a group of, you know, the movie Glory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And William Lloyd Garrison. This is about the Black soldiers, the ones that were put on the front line, that I'm sure they knew that they were going to be dying, you know, and they wanted to fight for their country. Okay.
As we always have.
Right.
And never getting the credit. They don't want to tell us about our plane, our jet fighters, or anything that we do. We're never remembered. So this 54th Regiment plays an important part in letting America know that we've always been the people who fought for this land. Our blood, our sweat, our tears, and our souls are in the soil of this country. And the 54th Regiment is symbolic of our presence in this country, willing to fight and uphold what they claim that this is one country under God, and that with liberty and justice for all.
Well, and I want to say that I'm not very good at history. I confess that. As a little girl, I didn't want to pass the test. I didn't want to say Columbus discovered America, you know, because my dad had said, you know, when Columbus got there, what we call the Native American, they were already there. And my dad said,
and Black Muslim sailors were they're taking their own. There's a book called "We Came Before Columbus" by Professor Ivan Van Sertima that shows artifacts and archaeological findings and historical documentation that show that there's a presence of Africans in the Americas long before Columbus.
So I want to say that in order to pass the test, sometimes I didn't even I sacrificed my grades because I didn't want to say what they wanted me to say. I know that may not have been wise, but I'm saying all that to say I didn't keep that stuff in my head. But it wasn't William Lloyd Garrison. It was Robert Shaw. That the 54th Regiment of the Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry. It was authorized by the Massachusetts Governor John A. Andrew in 1863, and it was commanded by Colonel Robert Shaw. That's why we have like the Shaw House and so forth. And it rendered honorable service during the Civil War from 1863 to 1965. In 2008, the 54th was reactivated as a Massachusetts National Guard ceremonial unit. And you should see those guys in action. You have seen them, in fact, at Roxbury Homecoming. They're out there all during the day at Franklin Park. And you will see them on Patriots Day. You will see them during the Organization of African American Veterans have their annual African American Military Heritage Day every year.
I didn't even know that was
Okay,
I didn't even know that was a real thing.
usually it's the Saturday before Memorial Day, and it's at General Gurdine Park. General Gurdine was the very first Black. Well, we're getting a park with a statue. We're going to have Fern Cunningham is going to do his statue. Gurdine Park is that little island, like across from the Silver Slipper, right there. That little park,
Right in Dudley Square.
at Dudley Square, and
we're getting a statue there.
absolutely. And we're on that committee, and the people in the community, you need to come out because we're working now on what we want there and how we want it put.
Okay.
And so that's what we're working on. But I'm saying that the 54th will be at that type of event, and they do their job. So yeah, we'll have Vinny to come in and talk to you about that.
I would like to also make mention that Ben Haith is the actual founder in Boston, and he designed the Juneteenth flag. And Mr. Brown, he took over the whole Juneteenth committee here in Boston in 2007, and he started in 2003. But after Ben Haith met his demise, it was Mr. Brown that took over. And so it's important that we know that this country belongs directly to us. And we have to stop acting like second-rate citizens and act like first-rate citizens in order to make sure that when we declare freedom, we know it's something that we're willing to sacrifice for, to give our lives for. This is what Malcolm X was doing. This is what Martin Luther King was doing, Frederick Douglass, all the black, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, say it again. I'm black and I'm proud. James Brown, anybody, Muhammad Ali. Yes, that's right. And so if we don't say that we're free, and that's what we think in our minds, and we keep on singing songs and are not prepared for the battle and realizing that there's work ahead of us, then we're always going to be enslaved.
So just as an aside, Ben Haith is still around. The demise is of the fact that he left the state, so that part is a demise, but he's still around. But you know, we talk about what happened as we go back to about Juneteenth and what really happened. The Juneteenth observance on the 19th of June, that to me is like the culminating date of when it ended throughout the United States of America. Now, of course, we know that the history books tell us that December the 6th, 1865, is when the 13th Amendment was ratified and it finally ended slavery in the United States. Okay, well, you know, that's not our point. And we appreciate that, but that's what it was written, that was given to us and so forth. But historically, we knew that in General Granger, he gave the general order in Galveston, Texas on the 19th of June and announced the end of slavery in all areas under his control. And so this was the last, and that's why I call it usually a culminating event is something that you celebrate. And you know what, historically, I have lived long enough to know people who have lived long enough to talk about what they did on the 19th of June. Now, in Texas, they weren't allowed to go into the swimming pools or anything like that. But guess what? On the 19th of June, the park was open. Now, that's a sad story to have to tell, but guess what? It's a story and it's history. And what we need to do with that history is realize what the people went through. Langston Hughes has a poem about, I forgot the name of it and so forth, but it talks about how people shuffled their feet and said yes, ma'am, and no, so and so forth. He talked about the bravery of those people, because those people, in order to live, they did that so that we could be around. You see, So I'm saying that we have so much to do, so much to take care of, until we need to continuously do things like the observance of the 19th of June. We need to reflect, we need to think, we need to act, and we need to do with purpose.
I'd like to say over the last few years of us holding this Juneteenth observance, what I found is that we were able to have some of the best speakers, including Byron Rushing and a number of other people, key speakers, who are unveiling the mask that is over this effort for freedom and enlightening their minds. Because if we are celebrating something that happened over 150, nearly more than 150 years ago, then we don't realize that the work is ahead of us. We're too happy to be. See, and this is why the separation between what we're doing, there's a small gap between what we're doing and what they do on the, what is the thing that the homecoming?
Oh, Roxbury Homecoming.
The Roxbury Homecoming. Well, it's significant because we get a chance to see one another.
Absolutely.
But we're not there just to be overjoyed about our presence there, but to see what are we going to just do about what things are necessary for us to truly be free. Economically, we did one thing that went from emancipation to freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So people might say, well, what is emancipation and what is freedom? Emancipation, somebody took off some chains from you. Freedom is a struggle and will always be. And until we are engaged in the struggle, then we'll always be enslaved. So this is the difference in the celebration that we have. It's a celebration of realizing that the struggle ahead of us and that we have to be unified, because there's no success without unity. Matter of fact, together is the solution.
And let's talk about the event a little more, some of the other things that's going to be, because there'll be something there for everyone. And we're going to have that.
And it's free.
Yes, it is free.
And the food is free too.
We're going to have Spark, the automobile.
Okay.
Equa Homes is on our committee with the Boston Juneteenth Committee and the NCAA. And this is an initiative of the Mass Arts Center for the Art and Community Partnership.
Okay.
I don't know. It's they bring a big mobile and it has all types of arts and crafts, and you get a chance to, young people get a chance to sit down with the older people and everyone in between, and you get to, and we will be doing something based on the theme of the Emancipation Observance. But there will be fun and games per se. There will be face painting, I believe, and there will be entertainment.
And community vendors.
Absolutely.
And the community quilt with Mass Art Spark. Is that's what that is?
Yes, it is. That's one of the things, because you can do your artwork right there, and she'll hang it like on a line. It'll be part of a quilt. Yeah.
So last year, you read the amendment.
Well, we do that every year. That's part of our program, because
you read it on air.
Oh, I did?
You did. And we talked about why it was so important for us to understand the amendment, and how I take it back to Brother Farouk, where he said, the emancipation versus freedom, these are two different things.
Okay.
And you kind of touched on that last year on air when we read the entire.
We read the entire Emancipation Proclamation.
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Oh, that's right. And we do that also at the event. But we read it. We surely did. I didn't bring it with me. Did you want me to read it?
But just tell us the reason. Recap the reason, because we always, we want to celebrate birthdays every year. We want to celebrate Christmas every year. I want to take time to celebrate this, for it to marinate, for people to understand why it's so important.
And it's so important because, every year that I read that thing, it's kind of long per se, but it's worth listening to. They name all the states. They name all the territories. And you get a visual of what was going on. The audacity for us to even have to come up with something like that about a man, a human being, But, one of the things, I have a Juris Doctorate from Thurgood Marshall School of Law. Yeah, Texas Southern, hail, hail, hail. And I did a constitutional law paper one summer. And it was really about labor. You know, it really back in the day, it had to do with, they called it peeing in a cup. It had to do with the urine test, testing your employees, you know. But I started looking at the Constitution of every state in the United States of America. And all of a sudden, I saw something that said free labor. Free labor. And it said slavery or something like that. I don't know. But the bottom line is this. Every single one of them said, with the exception of incarceration, there will be no free labor, no slavery or something, no free labor. Okay, what does that tell us?
Tells you that
with the exception of incarceration. So, are we free? What are our statistics as it relates to incarceration? And why is it? No, we're not saying that the wrongdoers did not need to be,
punished.
But I was also trained as an equal opportunity specialist, and I was an investigator. And my job was to go out and to investigate. It didn't matter if somebody was tardy. It didn't matter if they didn't report to work, if they were late on Fridays and Mondays, if they were absent. What mattered to us was one person fired for doing it and another person not fired. So it's the equal opportunity that's the key. So you have one person with a joint and someone else snorting, doing something, I don't know what, and that person goes to jail. They go directly to jail. They do not collect $200.
Don't pass go.
They do not pass go. And so it's the injustice of it all. And we just have to, you can't give up on it. Sometimes people will say, why doesn't he go sit down somewhere? We cannot. Everyone has a purpose. You have a purpose. That's why I love you so much. And you are so smart. I'm going to give you your shout outs right now. I think your radio listening audience knows that. She's a young woman, a young sister. I can say girl because I like that. I got a girl in me. I'm a girl too, per se.
Oh, girl.
Okay. And so, anyway, I'm silly, but I'm real. I'm Jamada. But I'm overwhelmed per se right now, And like I said, you put a mic in front of me and you're in trouble. But there's so much, and Tayla, I appreciate you because, and I like the name of your show. What's the name of your show?
Waking Up with Tayla Andre.
And that's the key. Waking up. We better wake up.
We do.
We have to wake up, and I don't mean just at 5. We need to wake up at 5 in the afternoon. We need to wake up at 3. And we're always, we just have to learn. We don't have to all jump on the same bandwagon. Just like your so-called, in the Christian and maybe other faiths, but in the Christian community, they call this ministry what you're doing. You have a ministry when you get on this air in the morning.
It's about sharing knowledge.
And you sharing your knowledge, and you're giving off, and you're giving people an opportunity. Communication is the key. Okay? So that's why, and to me, to be such a young sister and to be so strong, that just makes my heart feel good. So get me off the thing. Come on, Mike, say something.
Good morning.
Good rising.
Good rising.
I heard you breathing over here earlier.
Oh, I'm called Black Darth Vader. For real.
Come closer to the mic.
Okay.
I can't say what I want to say. It ain't Friday.
No, I just wanted to add to the comments that were made by the committee members that as a community and as a people, we have to be aware that there's so much history wrapped around our enslavement in these United States. And one of the facts that Black people need to be aware of, every summer they rush out to celebrate the 4th of July with their families and their friends, but do they really understand that it was 88 years after the first 4th of July was celebrated in this country that Black people were free? So 88 years.
88 years of preparing the celebrations of the 4th of July for your slave master. 88 years, you got the scraps, and still do. So with that knowledge of your history and realizing that for 88 years you weren't included in that party, and one of the leaders of the time, Frederick Douglass, was totally against this so-called 4th of July Independence Day because it didn't include us. And he was the leader and the spokesman for our people at the time in this country. And it's through his efforts that a lot of things came about. And another fact is that what they called it at the time was Emancipation Day. And it started here in Massachusetts and was a big celebration in the New Bedford area where Frederick Douglass lived. So Massachusetts has always been at the forefront of being the leader for the African American community in America. It's until recently that we've kind of sort of like got misled or whatever. But through the efforts of brothers like Ben Hafe and Ralph Brown Jr., the Museum for the National Center of African American Artists, Brother Barry Gaither and Sister Jamada, Imam Farouk, Aqua, Mrs. Brown, Andrea Payne, so many others, Carol Murray,
Benny White,
Benny White in the 54th Regiment,
Paula
Corps. We have a good team of people involved and trying to bring this education to the community. Yeah, Brother Rockman is a film producer, screenwriter. Jordan Lord, Aaron Holtzclaw, so many people involved. And we want to have more people involved. We want you to realize your history, come out and celebrate. Put as much enthusiasm into Juneteenth as you do the 4th of July. And we'll have our day. Put more.
Yeah. And you know,
but we don't know. We don't know what to wear. When we go to the 4th of July, we know we spend $2,000 on our red, white, and blue Jordans, on our red, white, and blue outfit. You know, we know how to do that. We don't know how to Juneteenth it.
Well, you know, they say this in the church family. You know, come as you are. Now, don't come naked, but come as you are. Number one. But you know, this is not a fight or anything. This is about enrichment. And this is about knowledge, you know, and it's blended with fun. Okay, it's blended with fun. And I wanted to mention something else that was going to be happening. Oh, we have the Ralph F. Brown. It's called the Ralph F. Brown Youth Presentation Award. Every year, we award one male and one female, and they're young people. And we realize the older we get, we're thinking that young is young, you know, and we're realizing that old might be older. However, this is what we're doing. We're honoring young people and or people who do things that impact large groups of young people. So this year we have the male and a female recipient. And I didn't bring their names with me today, but and every year we celebrate and we honor. We give them a beautiful, it's not even a plaque, it's a beautiful glass thing that we're giving this year. And also we give them a little monetary thing. And we recognize, because what Mr. Brown did is he talked the talk and he walked the walk. And so what we like to do, people like yourself, we like to encourage young people who get out there and do something for their community. And that's part of the program also.
Juneteenth, the 6th annual Juneteenth Emancipation Observation, standing in unity, honoring fathers and son. Please come out this Sunday, June 19th, 2016, on Father's Day, starting at 3 p.m., free to the public, music and entertainment, face painting, refreshments, community vendors, the community quilt with mass art spark, the Artmobile team, fun for all ages. Enjoy thoughtful and inspiring presentations on the theme of freedom and family-friendly afternoon of festivities and educational activities. A keynote address by Reverend Joe Cook from the Page Academy of Roxbury, Massachusetts. the encampment of the 54th Regiment, and bring your library card so you can check out a book from the BPL. Wait, I didn't know they even had a.
Oh yeah, they have a bibliocycle, and they come out. It's kind of like a bicycle with all these books.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. So they'll be there.
So are they going to be African themed, Black themed,
Well, what
historical themed?
they bring books that, you know, that increase your knowledge on different things. So
Okay.
they'll basically have a supply of that, and you know, all you have to have is your library card. And I forgot to mention Renee Jolly too. She's a good dynamite member too of the Boston Juneteenth Committee.
Mhm.
Didn't want to leave out anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did we mention everybody? Everybody got a shout out.
we kind of.
Trying to run through everyone real quick. Oh, we have to mention the brother Ben.
Oh yeah,
Ben, who was the caretaker of the museum.
of the museum, the caretaker of the museum.
Thank
know.
you, Brother Ben.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we invite everybody to visit the museum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's our purpose too. That's the thing. And we try to have like the spoken word. We have events, and to make people realize to come out to the NCAA.
The Museum of National Center of Afro-American Artists.
Artists, yes.
The Big Head Museum.
The Big Head. We have the Big Head Festival coming up in August.
Mhm.
Okay, that's something different. It's an actual festival.
Invite to the membership of the museum.
And
Come
the
out.
membership,
And enjoy. How much is membership? What does membership look like?
It's something like $120
is
a
it
year.
that much?
I think so.
You know what? You got me on a. I don't know, but I don't think it's that much.
But that membership covers
But I
for
know
you to
they-
come in all year round.
Absolutely, but I know that they take donations, and then to visit the museum, I think it's just a mere pittance. It's like $5 or $10 or something. The
Yes,
discount
well,
was
the
You got a
museum-
mere pittance.
Listen,
yeah, it's not much money at
The
all.
Museum of Fine Arts, they don't mind going and spending a pretty penny there, pittance and pretty penny.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but you know, we're not. I don't want to say what people do or don't do.
Well,
All I want to say is good
encouraging,
stuff.
we have a museum there that's reflective
and
of
that's
our
the piece.
African American culture and art.
Come say it. Come say it.
We have a museum that's reflective of our African American art and has some of the finest pieces, the nationally known pieces, world known pieces, and the people of Roxbury, in particular Black people, have to go there and see there. They have a whole display on espelta, which is an espelta is the Sudanese Nubian king, and we don't know what's there. It's a hidden gem. We want this to be something known to white and Black.
Yeah.
We want them to see the culture and the art and the depth of our cultural understanding about who we are and what we are, and how the beauty of who and what we are. So we invite you to be members of the National Center of African American Artists Museum. Please come out, and don't forget to come out and join us this Sunday at 3 o'clock for, I think, what would be a wonderful and spectacular observance of our Black culture and our freedom, the one that we've been fighting for and continue to fight for.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I want to remember Jackie Payne, Jackie Payne Thompson, as well as Reverend Andrea Payne. Okay.
You gotta forgive our elders. They didn't shut their phones off. It's okay though.
Listen,
It's
that's
okay.
my husband, and he has not been feeling well, and so I have to see him.
Well, shout out, give a shout out. What's his name?
Feel better.
His name is Bobby.
Okay.
But the thing is that we have to. I'm a praying community. I pray for our community every single morning. Plus, I'm on the Grant AME prayer line every morning at 6 o'clock, which I miss. But I'm saying that I pray for families.
Mm.
I pray for families and I pray for marriages. And so I think it's important that we talk about our spouses. If you have a husband or a wife, and try to, I'm just telling you what we need to hear, because we don't have respect and for our elders. We don't have respect for our men. We don't have respect for our women. We don't have respect for our children. We don't have respect for our elders. And we do. What I'm saying is that it seems like that's Elba Lewis, yes, with Muhammad Ali.
So we had
Yeah, she was the
national
founder.
support from our Black
So I'm just saying all that to say that I have to see about my husband because he was in the hospital, so I kept my phone on only for that purpose.
But you're right. We do need to use, creative, loving language that uplifts our men, our women.
Right.
We say that we're for our children. We're not for our children. We say that we're for women. We have policies that are not for women. Like, we do need to start using our language and our tongues, that power of life and death.
And people need to know that marriage is not a 4-letter word. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing because it's almost bad to be married. I mean,
it's
so
absolutely necessary.
Yeah, so it's important. So this is all about knowledge and learning. Okay.
May I make mention of something?
Yes, absolutely.
This is the month of Ramadan, the month of fasting and prayers for the Muslims. So I want to, on behalf of
really quickly, can you tell us what Ramadan? I wanted you to come back to speak to this. What exactly is Ramadan?
Ramadan is the 9th month in the Muslim calendar. It's a lunar calendar. It's not gauged by solar. It's not a solar calendar. It's by the lunar cycles. It's the 9th that's set aside in the Quran as a time for. It says شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. In Arabic, said the month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed as a matter of guidance and clarity of guidance and the ability to discern right from wrong. So we fast from the early morning hours just before the sun rises until just as the sun goes down. And we observe late night prayers and the giving of charity and sharing of food. So it's a tradition that goes long even before the Prophet Muhammad. The fasting, that even though we find this in all of the biblical scriptures. So fasting is a time for doing without things that you would ordinarily enjoy, so that you can be more thoughtful about people who are less fortunate, spending money on people who we've given away, even now, thousands of dollars from our mosque in particular, thousands of dollars worth of meat. We have an organization called the Islamic Multi-Service Organization. We have a food pantry, and yesterday we gave out $3,000 worth of food and bought what much was $2,200 worth of meat, and gave out tickets to the different people in the community. So it's a time of reflection, a time of drawing nearer to God and drawing nearer to one another, so that we can reflect on issues like this. It's deep. My thoughts are deeper because of my fasting about those who don't have. The Syrian people, they're white. We Muslims, we black people are not racist. And racism is a disease of the devil himself. He was the one who first said when man was created, and he was a black man, created of dark mud, that he wouldn't bow down to this man after God had told him to. So when you find that the racism as a functioning the thing that functions in our humanity, this racism, right, is a disease of Satan. And I advise all my black brothers and Asian brothers and any people of color, don't subject yourself or permit yourself to be in that clagger of being racist. I am a racist. I'm a human being. I got a job at the Hayes and Bickford's restaurant when I was 16 years old. Hayes, and they said, identify the box that you were black, white. I put down another box and wrote what I was. I gave it to the man, and he said, what's this? I said, I'm human. What are you? He said, you got the job, kid. Because this is the race. This other thing that we have that going on that Europeans have fostered over the last 2,000 years to oppress other people and take their land and take their resources is a disease of Satan himself. So anybody who's a racist is a devil.
And with that being said, wake up with Tayla Andre Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. I'm okay with that.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
Wake up, everybody.
No more sleeping in bed. Yes. Hold on. And he got a voice. Okay, now. But do not forget this Sunday, June 19th, Father's Day. It's at the Big Head Museum. For many people who don't know, the Museum of National Center of African American Artists. Again, we start at 3 p.m. Free to the public. Music and arts, face painting, refreshments.
Food is free.
Food is free.
Mom and Brother Barry Gaither are responsible for the food, and they just can't stop talking about it.
I know it's going to be cleansing. I know it's going to be wholesome. I know it's going to be prayed over, and it's going to be good.
And listen, The 19th of June, no matter what date it falls on, you know that something is taking place at 300 Walnut Avenue. So next year,
No, you got to say something about Governor Patrick signing into state
Oh,
legislation,
yeah.
and also Gloria Fox, who is
they're
now
gonna tribute.
retiring. So may Gloria Fox and Governor Patrick, Patrick, be honored and recognized as well.
Yeah, we're paying tribute to Representative Fox too on our program. She's
Okay.
been with us since its inception. And, but I just want to emphasize that on the 19th of June, if you can't make it out this year, which we hope you do, next year, whatever the 19th falls on, you know where to come.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes,
300
ma'am.
Walnut Avenue.
Thank you,
300
Taylor. We love
Walnut.
you.
I love you.
Give it up, Tayla.
I love you. I have something for you. I got something for all that big city you had. Big City 101.3 FM. Waking up with Taylor Andre. Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Shut up, CC Boston, 801 Mass Ave. Free parking, delivery till 1 a.m. Half price sushi on the weekends. Face Natural Beauty Charcoal Face Wash. The Pum Pum Wash. The deodorant. Tickets for David Banner go on sale July 23rd. July 23rd. David Banner is coming, and tickets are on sale this week.
No more back thinking, time for thinking ahead. World changed so very much from what it used to be.
I have to turn that down because YouTube's going to get us. I love you. I appreciate you. Here is the flyer. Screenshot it. It will be online for everybody. Thank you so much. And we got to